check you out in the tasting room right after I'm done with this. So we chatted for about 2 hours, and he had this exciting opportunity to help launch a winery in Colorado, which I thought was a bit insane, but here I'm sitting 10 years later. Yeah, so I moved out here in 2016. This project opened in September, so we were sourcing wine from California that first season. We didn't have all of our equipment in place or acquired, and so we decided to venture out to the western slope. We have two viticultural areas here in Colorado. Does anyone know what those might be? They are our Napa and Sonoma, if you will. So American Viticulture Area, AVA, Napa and Sonoma in California, of course. We have two here. One is called Grand Valley. It's where Palisade Grand Junction sits, and then about 60 miles adjacent to the Gold Pan Saloon, and that's where we implemented these using bright tanks as serving vessels. So they're under constant pressure, about 15 psi. It's a beer gas mix of, I believe, 75% nitrogen, 25% CO2, and we find that keeps the wine fresh, and it's not quite as economically costly as using 100% argon, which would get a little expensive. But 2019 we increased production even more, I think, to about 89 tons. 2020 there was a frost, so we lost quite a bit of fruit. But we've been experimenting with these cold hardy varieties. We purchased the vineyard planted solely to these hybrids, consisting of 10 varieties. And so the difference between cold weather hardiness of, say, a Vitis vinifera grape like Cabernet or Chardonnay compared to something like, you have Marquette, Frontenac. There's all these peculiar named varieties that I had to try to get a grasp of. But they can withstand up to 7 times the coldness level of like Cabernet or Chardonnay. So most Vitis vinifera, about -5 during the winter. Anything more than that, the vines are decimated. So it can drop pretty cold there. So we find that it's kind of an insurance crop, but the varieties are fun to play with. We'll be tasting one of the colder hardy varieties next door in a sparkling program. So it works well with sparkling because there's a propensity for higher acidity, a fruit forwardness, and we like to pick early for lower alcohol. But what else? We'll be launching another tasting room in Colorado Springs this July. Kind of similar to this setup, much smaller footprint for the tasting room. We've taken over old Chicago's there in North Colorado Springs. It's being renovated at present, and that'll be the 5th location. So Breckenridge, and then a tasting room in downtown Denver, Cap Hill, and then 2021 we procured a couple vineyard sites and a tasting room and vineyard there as well. So it's been breakneck speed. We went from 5,000 cases in the beginning in 2016 to roughly a case equivalent. We do a lot of wine on tap and in keg, which is certainly helps contribute less glassware and cork to the recycling trash system. I believe our CEO attempted to conduct the math recently. He calculated, I think, 1.5 million bottles and corks and labels since we've launched doing the growler system and the kegs. So we distribute kegs locally. We're solely in state, so we're not quite big enough to be distributing out of state. But it's been an exciting endeavor thus far, especially with the new varieties, the weather. For those that haven't been out to Palisade, because I didn't see everyone's hand raised, it's about 240 miles west of Denver, so it's a bit of a drive during the harvest season. So the grape harvest is typically late August. This is for still wines. Sparkling is a little bit earlier. So August through October is when the grape season locally exists. And so it's a lot of driving back and forth to sample the vineyards and test the progression of the sugars and tannin development. And so sometimes twice a week. So a lot of audiobooks and podcasts.
I got a question for you.
Absolutely.
What's the biggest challenge that you see on the wine side of things versus maybe beer out in this area, right? Maybe it's operations, maybe it's like marketing or general, but whatever it may be, like a bunch of people that are very involved with beer, right?
Absolutely.
What's the challenge?
Well, as you likely can attest, consumption's down. I mean, there's not as much traffic as there once was. Maybe not true for everyone, but seemingly that seems to be a trend for many of the libation producers in the country. It's not just Colorado. But, it's picking back up, but it had been down. There was an 18-month blip of what the hell's going on, at least for us and a lot of the wineries we spoke to. I can't speak to the beer world, but yeah, it was a trying. But yeah, the propensity for the younger crowd to not be partaking as much or be more interested in the non-alcoholic sector, or
How are you guys targeting that? Because on the beer side of things, NA beer.
Yeah.
They can be made.
Right.
NA
No,
wine
absolutely. Yeah. NA wine requires certainly a substantial economic outlay. We've explored some options. We thought about sending some wine off, but we learned that with some experimental batches, the wine has to be made certainly in a very specific, strict manner. You can't just take something lying around and be like, hey, can you turn this into NA? It has to be very specific because they're stripping everything out. So if you don't have something that's strictly made for NA, then it becomes a product that you don't want to present and put a bad foot forward. But yeah, the NA sector is I didn't think it would be sustained as long, but it seems to be not going anywhere. But
getting stronger, really.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people in this room have a background knowledge of how strong it is here.
So then, kind of with that, with the lower ABV and stuff too, do you think like maybe using like stuff like Frontenac or like Itasca, things that are like lower sugar and higher acids, you still get that wonderful mouthfeel and stuff. The lower ABV and a fully dry product might be.
yeah, the lower ABV option is. We thought about it, but we thought if we're going to do it, why not do it all the way? Because we have beer available. The beauty of I failed to mention that the license under which we produce is called a restaurant vintner's license. So all of our taste rooms has the ability to sell NA products and whiskey, really, liquor, spirits. So we didn't. I don't know if the profit margin is worth the endeavor of producing, unless we procure the technology and didn't have to send stuff off and pay for freight, and that stuff's just quite expensive. But there is certainly, you can do RO filtration, you can do cone devices that remove alcohol, but that stuff is costly. It's just a costly endeavor. But yeah, those varieties certainly work for a lower alcohol product, but we've yet to really delve into something around a 5 to 7 ABV versus 13 to 14 to 15, which is what most winery produce, where that ABV lies.
What's your favorite varietal? To drink and to make.
Man, that's a tough one. My spirit grape would probably be Syrah. I really enjoy Syrah, but in the valley. One of the larger growers, one of the guys that's been around for a while, a gentleman named Kaibab Savage. His dad was a raft guide, I guess, in Grand Canyon and into geology. So I guess Kaibab is a geological formation. I thought he was Native American when I first heard his name, but white farmer dude, Kaibab. He was at a seminar. Someone was speaking about this variety called Turaldago. Turaldago is an Italian red variety with origins in northeastern Italy, and it did well in the Finger Lakes area of New York, and so he decided, why not just try it out? And so He planted the first plantings, I believe, about 11 years ago, 2015, and we had the opportunity to work with it a couple years. Second leaf, which is typically for grapes, third leaf, third production cycle is construed as the standard for feasible maturity for grape usage for wine. But we were able to do some Giraldago second leaf and turned out beautifully. We're going to taste some out of amphora clay pots next door. But yeah, to answer your question, probably Syrah would Syrah. Giraldago is a genetic relative of Syrah, so along that same profile of spicy note.
So both to drink and to make.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah. Sparkling. We got into sparkling wine production more heavily with the purchase of a couple of Charmat tanks. You have a few different methods of producing sparkling wine. Pet nat, which you allow the juice to ferment to a very specific sugar level, and you put it in a bottle, cap it, and allow the primary fermentation to finish, thus creating the bubbles. If you overshoot or undershoot the number of the amount of sugar remaining, then you have explosions or not enough carbonation. So very, very precise math on that. Traditional method, you're taking a base wine and adding more yeast and sugar and doing a second fermentation. And we did that with Chenin Blanc, our first endeavor. Turned out lovely. But these Charmat tanks allow us to produce on a larger scale. So 20 hectoliter accommodates about 700 gallons, and the 50 hectoliter around 1,300 gallons of base wine, and then we re-ferment, do a second fermentation, and allow that to, these tanks can accommodate up to 6 atmospheres of pressure, so about double your car tire pressure, so pretty significant. We found that the sweet spot for our bottling line, we have a counter pressure bottling line in Palisade, where we house the tanks now. The sweet spot's about 4.5 atmospheres of pressure, so anything more than that, it significantly slows down the production timeline. Just the bottling line just creeps along anything above 5 bar really. But with traditional method, you can get up to 6 atmospheres of pressure, which can be a little scary, especially when filtering it. You see the thing creep up to 100 psi. You're like, I should probably be wearing helmet and goggles or something. But
that's why you have those industrial bottles, right?
yeah, they can handle up to purportedly 8 atmospheres of pressure, 8 to 10, some of the bottles, but haven't tested that out yet.
Yeah. But no impurities.
You have alluvial soils on the base, and then more silty loam up on the upper mesa, and so they do contribute different flavor profiles and what have you. But the soil, the pH, I would say on average it sits between 7.5 and 8.5. So it's considered alkaline for grape grown.
Is that higher than like Mendocino or
Absolutely.
or
Absolutely. Yeah.
What
And
is it?
what that does is it inhibits uptake of potassium and other nutrients, and can create constrictions. And so you have to monitor you have to send it off to a lab and get everything dialed in so that you don't have anything mitigating too much. But I've found, again, paired with that diurnal shift, so that during the growing season, I think we can get a swing, we can get a temperature swing, a diurnal shift of up to 45 degrees. It's pretty significant. We're 4,800 feet in elevation there. I think some days above 100 during the growing season, and then down to 50 degrees at night. So
You get like weeks in August.
Oh yeah, that's hot. Yeah, absolutely. And so we're finding that conducive varieties like that grown in Spain, like Albarino, Tempranillo, that they perform well on certain seasons. We're planting a lot more Albarino now. We have on one of our vineyard sites, I believe we have about 1.5 acres of Albarino, 17 rows. But that's a strong performer in the valley, Albarino.
And you don't get quite the same amount of like direct sunlight too, right? Because compared to Spain, you're sitting in between a valley,
Yeah.
right? So
Right. We have the Book Cliff Mountains are a source of radiant heat as well, and then you have the wind that comes. It's like a perfect. They call it the $1 million breeze. And that's, I think 1891 is when they first started planting grapes, I believe, about 60 acres, experimental plot. But they've been planting peaches and other fruit, orchard fruit for ages.
Unless there's a frost, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's wild to be in Palisade in that area during a cold snap because all you hear at night are these wind machines. And you know, some people that can't afford a wind machine, they have smudge pots. So they're burning pots every 10, 15 feet, or as close as they can to try to bring more radiant heat in. It's fascinating. You know, hopefully we're past. Usually May 15th is the exhale date. We've never really had a frost past May 15th, but we'll see. I mean, right.
So you mentioned that the rain where you're at is 6 to 9 inches.
Yeah, correct.
What do you irrigate to? Do you irrigate up to that 15 inches?
Sometimes past it. It's certainly variety dependent. Like some of these cold hardy varieties, like Traminette is a white variety that has its genetic. One of its genetic parents is Gewürztraminer, which is a white floral, very floral variety out of Austria, and it doesn't require that much water. It's very vigorous, so you could do much less. So with these cold hardy cultivars, it's somewhat more sustainable too, less water, and you don't need to plant on rootstock. That's another thing I didn't discuss. Rootstock, there's a little louse called phylloxera that's eviscerated vineyards throughout the world, and I think it was a scientist out of Texas actually figured out that if you plant on very specific rootstock, it's phylloxera resistant. So with these cold hardy varieties, because it's Vitis vinifera mixed with, say, Vitis riparia or something else, they have a genetic disposition to not need to be planted to rootstock. So that's another viability of these new varieties that we've been working with.
With the soil, are you amending the soil to acidify at all, or?
It quite site dependent, but yeah, I've seen folks hit amend with sulfuric acid. Yeah, to acidify. Or other means.
Yeah.
But fortunately, we inherited sites that were already planted, so we haven't had to do too much of that.
Yeah.
Unless we're
Is that more like
expanding.
preparing soil and
Yeah.
getting it set.
Yeah. But yeah, peaches are certainly the cash crop out there, more so than the grapes. I think planted in totality in Colorado is probably less than 1,000 acres of grapes. Yeah.
Is all the grapes? Oh, sorry. Are all the grapes coming from Colorado, or are you getting other things?
So we custom crush in Washington as well.
Okay.
We didn't have enough. There's just not enough inventory to sustain 5 locations, especially with wine on tap. So we don't typically put a lot of the Colorado inventory on tap. It's mostly bottled because of that. But it'd be great if there were more vineyards planted. It's just, you know, there's only so many sites. The Four Corners area, Cortez is seeing a lot of growth in vineyard planting. And it's just so far away. It's hard to get appropriate crew down there. What's really nice about the Grand Valley is that because of the orchard fruit production, the seasonal workforce is in queue to, once peak season ends, they just get folded right into grape season. Granted, sometimes that overlaps, and you know, the orchard fruit has priority. Terrible. Yeah.
Going back to the water aspect, one of the things that's kind of known historically is if you do irrigation, what tends to happen is the soils begin to pick up the salts and it changes the soils. Have you seen any of that in the time you've been here?
Great question. Yes, we've recently started experiencing and monitoring more closely calcium in particular, because with wine, and I don't know in the beer world if you guys have any. I mean, I know you get beer crystals too, or what? Thank you, beer stones.
Yeah.
Pardon. We call them crystals. It's more elegant. But potassium bitartrates can be mitigated with cold pressure in a tank, or different additives to envelop said crystallization molecules. But with calcium, there's not yet an available approved additive, and there's no means, like you can't just cold crash a tank to get rid of the calcium crystals. So yeah, that's becoming an issue. It certainly is. I mean, we're seeing some some issues raise their head with exactly what you're saying.
So would that be something that
Could be
really
rectified in
deal
vineyard,
with
yeah.
that is in the soil
It's going to have to be, yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be an issue that it just gets exponentially worse as the vineyards become more accommodating to the calcium uptake.
Does your team have horticulturalists, or do you contract out?
We've been working with the growers that have been in the valley. So we do have vineyard management on a couple different sites, 2 different vineyard managers. So yeah, I don't have a strong background. I've been mostly doing urban winemaking for, this is my 21st season. And frankly, I've never owned a vineyard, or worked at a winery that owned a vineyard. It has always been these year-to-year contracts in California. So it's been nice to certainly learn more, but man, you unearth one layer of knowledge, and there's always so much more. It's a little overwhelming, especially on the growing side.
The grower that you mentioned is like one of their family has owned vineyards out there.
Yeah,
for a long
and
time. Like,
so
they're one of the better growers.
yeah, absolutely, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
I mean, year to year,
I think he's got like 60 varietals or something.
something crazy. Yeah, and he keeps planting more, and it's great because
Then you get to play with.
it's precisely, yeah, precisely. It's nice, and being that we're still a new region, so we're still trying to figure out what grows well. But every season brings a new challenge. If you asked me 5 years ago, I would say Cab Franc is the most consistent performer in the valley. But then we had an issue with mealybug invasion, and the mealybug is a vector for leaf roll, which is a disease that becomes prevalent in the vineyards, and you have to rip out and replant. So they're trying to mitigate that with hormone sprays, pheromone treatments, not hormone, pheromone, to disrupt the mating season for the mealybugs. And so, one thing after another, there's always something. The loxer, the mealybug, I don't know what the next thing's going to be, but it's adaptation at its finest.
Are there anything like in between rows that companion planting or people do to mitigate pests at all? Or
Certainly. I wish I knew more about that.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean there are certainly more biodynamic methodologies, whether
or rotational stuff.
yeah, or what cover crop you're using, even down to the cover crop. But yeah, no, there's a lot more to be learned in the valley. Absolutely, yeah.
I was from a barley place.
We grow barley, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Why is that the farm?
Sorry,
question. No, it's good. It's awesome.
Do you have any infiltrating pests that are disrupting
there's
barley?
always tons of things too, but like
Yeah.
the rotation of stuff is always like the costly mitigation of that. But it's
Right.
kind of hard when you're growing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
in the fields.
No, it's
We have the
farming's no joke, man.
the perennial thing having it on there is
Yeah.
a little bit different than like
Yeah.
we can rotate around and stuff.
No, it's challenging to keep up with the. 28 varieties is a lot to try to, or 26, excuse me, 26 varieties is a lot between the 2 vineyards we own and operate. It's trying to figure out, how is this going to perform this year versus last year. Yeah.
Do you notice like a change in climate stuff, like things, I'm thinking long term, 30, 50 years, it's going to be a better, or other varieties are going to like outpace different things?
Yeah, I think so.
And trends change so much too.
Well, and frankly, the Colorado River is not going to be what it is 5 years from now, 2 years from now. So it's something that needs to be. It is being addressed, but perhaps not in the expedited fashion that it should be. So yeah, we're going to have some
varieties that
we're going to have some issues to work through. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm seeing a lot more cold-hardy cultivars being planted. Because man, some of these cold snaps are getting worse and worse.
Yeah, same with barley row, winter barley.
Yeah.
Where's that price right now?
What's the cold hardiness of barley?
Barley's extremely cold hardy, but there are winter barleys.
Down to.
I don't know the temperatures
Okay, yeah.
and stuff. I mean, really low.
Okay, yeah.
They can survive like. We plant in October sometimes and they last.
Oh, okay, excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's rice. Yeah.
All right. Any more questions before we head over next door and start tasting through some Colorado stuff?